Good morning. It's late today, 7:35. Gonna try to get me up at 6, but I was a little bit worn out from yesterday's activities, so I slept in till 7. Flynn, Flynn, what do you smell? Come on, let's go. Flynn, let's go. It's 40 degrees out. Let's go this way this morning, Flynn. Flynn, come this way. Go by and show you the accumulation of alders that a little bit dry out and used for firewood. I still got a lot more trees to take down, all the trees. No, don't pee in there. Oh, bunny rabbits. So, yesterday, even though I got up at 5 in the morning, I didn't get out to start working until later. A little bit different view this morning. Walking through the yard. So I get out with the battery operated chainsaw and cut up the alders that I'd laid down, not to be chipped, but just to be cut up for that firewood over there. So I think yesterday the video had the pile of alders. We'll go by there today. Come on, buddy. Let's see, the grass is turning green over here. That usually grows the best over there. So after I ran the battery out on the chainsaw, cutting up the alders. What do you got, bud? I missed it. This is something flying. As you recall, yesterday there was a pile. Actually, there were two piles. There was one pile that was ready to cut up for firewood. There was a smaller pile that was over there that had brush. Still attached to the alders. That's to be chipped there. But you can see we've cleared from over that way, back in through past the apple. A couple apple trees there. And down to here, because this was getting taken over by the alders. It gets to the point where you couldn't drive between this pine tree and the alders because the branches are coming out. The same for over here. There was an alder that had been spreading out. You couldn't get between that pine tree and the alder without getting caught up in the branches. Flynn, Flynn. So after running the battery out on the chainsaw, I had a glass of iced tea, sat down for a little bit, took some Advil because my back was bothering me at that point. After I finished the iced tea, I took the chipper that was on the back of the John Deere up to the pile of apples. And the apple branches are such a bitch. Especially if it's old dead ones. And I had cut and pruned a bunch of branches on the apples up here. I had made a pile, but you can see, I don't know if I took video of it previously, but there were apple prunings on the ground up here. Flynn, bunny rabbit. Flynn, bunny rabbit. Over there, to the right. You can see there some of the shippings that didn't get into the back of the John Deere. There's nothing in there, Flynn. Come. This is the dug well. I talked about it before. It's 23 feet to the bottom, and when I measured it, it had a 19-foot column of water, so good deal of water in there. I bought some tubing to try and pump water out there for a garden, but just never got to it. Hanging up in the basement. So you can see the apple trees are a little bit pruned up here. Should be able to drive through there with the mower just to keep the brush down. There were branches over here. I gathered those up. There had been a big pile of apple branches up here. And that's where I was tripping yesterday. Now, it's supposed to get rain today. And Rita's got to go to Bangor. So, not sure what I'm going to do. I had hoped to get the tractor out, try and smooth out some of the road up here. But if it rains, I'm not going to bother doing that. Last walk with Flynn, there was a rabbit over here, so he was entertained by that. And further up the road, another 300-400 feet. I don't know if you can see it. There's a light brown area between the two mud areas. That's a cul that goes across the street, the road. And I had seen a bird going in the woods there. And I wasn't sure, because it was that far away. Wasn't sure what kind of bird it was. But we get up there, and there's a female turkey bedding down for the night. And at first I thought it was a duck because it was down in the grass and leaves. Flynn saw it. And then it took note of us. And it took off. Boy. That took off like a bat out of hell. The ground here is still, it was in water. Flynn. We came back down the road. There was an apple where Flynn is. Not an apple. A rabbit where Flynn is. And the rabbit was eating these rotten apples. Actually, the one right by his foot. It was really enjoying that apple because we got close to it before it moved. Flynn, come on. So I had the ATV out a couple times. You can see my tracks. I tried riding over the high spots over here to push the dirt down. Same over here. Come on, Flynn, over there. I don't know what that big bee is. I hope you can hear that. Oh, something. There was just an animal. Maybe it was a cat. You get cats up there. Although it was all gray. They were a calico cat. I hope it wasn't a fisher cat. I have to periodically. Oh. Back. The turkey was back over in the woods there, about 20 feet off the road. I get distracted by the animal that went in the driveway up here. I think the tom turkeys that she's got over here in the shack are calling in these wild turkeys. There's a tom going out of the shack, starting the stuff. So I think they said there's snow in the forecast. Not sure what day. Not today because it's 40 degrees out. So after shipping up most of the apple branches because I didn't get to all of them, went inside and grilled up a New York sirloin steak. We'd gotten the steak out at Maple Lane Farms, and boy, was that a good steak. I don't know where that critter went. There's the turkey back by that secondary building over there. It's a wild turkey or one of the domesticated ones. You see it back there. That wasn't the critter I saw because what I saw was on all fours. steak came out perfect. It was, I had the grill on, 2 burners on high. Left one side probably for 10 minutes until I started to see the fat dripping down and causing little bursts of flames. I checked to see whether it was getting burned or not. It wasn't. So I flipped it over, cooked the other side for probably 8 minutes. Brought it inside, let it rest, and Rita picked out the part she wanted. She likes her beef still moving, so it wasn't quite there. It was a little bit more not moving, but still very, very rare. And I took the next slice, and boy, was that tender and delicious. Now, I'm one of those people that puts ketchup on steak, but after I had a bite of that steak, I didn't touch the ketchup on it. And I cut into that platter where the big piece of steak was 2 more times because I couldn't stop eating it. It was that good. We had mashed potatoes and corn with it. Rita's been using these instant mashed potatoes, which come out really, really good. And loves the corn. So there's some steak left over, and unfortunately for Rita, she's going down to Bangor, so it's going to be sitting there tempting me to have it for lunch. I'll probably pull one of the loaves of Italian bread I made out and slice the steak up and have it on the Italian bread. Have a nice sandwich out of it. Let's see if we see any new turkey tracks up here. Not sure if Flynn's going to take care of business this morning. He did gobble down his food last night after we walked after we had dinner, and we put some of the scraps in his food bowl, mixed it up with his regular food, and he gobbled that down. So he had a full belly last night. I have regular winter gloves on. Don't really need them this morning, but the other gloves I don't really wear on a warmer day just got chewed up by the apple branches. Just ripped the hell out of the gloves. I buy the gloves at Home Depot. They have a package of 3 pair of gloves for $10 usually, and I like to keep them in the truck for driving on cooler days, or just wearing anytime, cutting the grass, doing any sort of work, because Just keep my fingers warm. Oh, sorry, Flynn. I didn't mean to do that. No, it doesn't look like there's any partying going on last night. Flynn. Come on, bud. I didn't get up to pick up the Twisted Tea 6-pack holder. I forgot about it, honestly. Flynn, come on, bud. Flynn, come on. I don't know what you smell in there, but I'm tired of it. Come on. Yeah, it bothers me that they threw bottle caps all over the ground here. And the carton for holding the 6-pack. I'm just wondering where they threw the bottles. Oh. While I was stacking the alders yesterday, I had the walkie-talkie on. Can't remember the brand. But the walkie-talkie has a button where you can actually listen to FM radio. So I listened to the Voice of Maine. Can't remember what show it was on, but they breaking news that the board of Twitter agreed to Elon Musk's terms to have Elon Musk buy Twitter. So the voice of free speech, not the voice of free speech, but free speech is going to return to Twitter. And it really made me smile that Elon Musk is going to get the censorship out of Twitter. My Twitter account had been suspended for well over a year, possibly 2 years. They said I violated the terms of service with targeted abuse, and I had appealed numerous times, and they would only respond back saying that your account will not be, I can't remember the term. Basically, the account was going to remain suspended. So once I had heard that Elon Musk had bought, $9 million worth of, or 9%, I had appealed again. And I can't remember exactly what I said, but I said something to in the appeals process. I said something like, my tweet didn't target anybody, nobody's name or account information was in the tweet, and at least have the decency to pull up the tweet and tell me what part of the tweet had targeted somebody. And later that day, lo and behold, they threw it back up. In reviewing your account, the tweet didn't target anybody, so your account's back in working order. Just have to delete that tweet. So I didn't care. I deleted the tweet. It was basically I'd read something by Matt Walsh where a guy who had been convicted of raping kids had government paid for sex reassignment surgery, so now he was a woman, supposedly. Supposedly a woman. So my tweet back to Matt Walsh was that the guy should have been put to death and his organs harvested rather than having government paid sex reassignment surgery. And that's what got me suspended. But again, nobody's name was in the tweet. But I'm back on. And I can just imagine the liberals, the libtards, liberal retards that go through suspending people, mostly conservatives. You know that Donald Trump was suspended, but Vladimir Putin's Twitter account is still active. He can still tweet. Shows you what kind of consistency the people at Twitter have. So after the announcement that Musk is taking Twitter private, Donald Trump said that he would not be going back on Twitter. He's going to stay on some Truth Social. So last night on my iPad, I went to the App Store and downloaded Truth Social's app, created an account, and I'm following President Donald Trump, on Truth Social. Also following Dan Bongino and Hamley. Who else? There are other people. They brand advertising down there in Lincoln. And all this social stuff is why I didn't get any real work done yesterday. Even though I was up at 5, I wasted several hours going on Facebook and Twitter, looking at YouTube videos, posting my YouTube video. Flynn. Flynn. I don't know how that doesn't hurt. He's smelling that red weed thing. It's got to be going up his nostril. Yeah. No, I haven't seen the goat. I guess they moved the goat out with a cow somewhere. And there's no wind this morning, so maybe it'd be a good time to send the drone up. A little reconnaissance. So what are you doing, bud? So if it rains today, I guess I'll finally get around to making blueberry muffins. Although, might not have enough milk. So I have to change hands. Yeah, you take a third of a cup of vegetable oil, an egg, and then whatever the volume left from the third of a cup of the egg, you fill up to make 1 cup of liquid with milk. So I usually go a little bit heavy on the milk to get like a cup and an eighth or a cup and a quarter. So not sure if I have enough milk. I'll have to measure it out. Not in with vegetable oil and an egg. I'll just have to measure out how much is in the container. Because if there's a cup of milk, there'll be plenty of milk for making 2 batches of muffins. We got plenty of butter. I think we have 2 pounds of butter, untouched, salted butter, and a batch, 2 batches of muffins. We use a quarter cup of butter. I left the, getting away from blueberry muffins, I left the apple chippings in the bed of the John Deere because I want to keep those and let them dry out for smoking meats. But I don't want to leave them in the John Deere and have all that moisture getting into the metal and rusting the metal. I have to figure something out. Yeah, Flynn is not taking care of business this morning. Surprised we didn't get any mail yesterday. We were supposed to get mail. I checked twice, Rita checked once. Nothing there. And of course, this is probably after 8 at this point. The school bus is long gone. Inside to have my coffee. Figure out what I'm going to do. Check the weather. See whether I can get in some work this morning because there's some apple branches and some older things that have to get tripped up. Of course, one, my watch just vibrated. I don't know whether it's connected to my Wi-Fi or whether. Oh, bunny rabbit. 2 of them. So Flynn goes into stalking mode. The camera's starting to slip out of my hands. What is that? Bunny rabbits, Flynn? Is that bunny rabbits? Flynn? Flynn, am I going to distract you? No? Any few thoughts? No? If I'm inch closer, you can get inch closer. Come on. Would you make eye contact with him? There he goes. He's gone. We got one more. Back to stalking. Oh, there he goes. Oh, Flynn, let's go in the house. Flynn, let's go. She's the other one now. Come on. Good boy. You stared them down, huh? You give them the evil eye? Is that what it is? A little evil eye to the rabbits. Tell them who's boss. What do you see? There's nothing out there. Good boy. No, no water, come. Oh, yeah, I'm dragging this morning. Firewood. They usually have sales in April and May. As you get it by Memorial Day. So that's it. A little bit overcast today. They say rain. Maybe later. That's it for this morning. Thanks for watching.